Hey guys, welcome back. It's time to talk about Modern Family. Now, Modern Family just ended its illustrious 11th season run this year, and what a rollercoaster ride it has been. Packed chock full of memorable characters and brimming with wacky plots that made you smile for the whole day, I must admit this show was a no-frills watch for me. It had a short and crisp 22 minutes runtime that almost always had something going on every minute, making your mind go helter-skelter along with the characters who were cooking up a whole host of problems with them. Speaking of problems, which this show is not a stranger to, albeit this time we are talking about its narrative and pacing instead of the hodgepodge mishaps that Phil or Jay end up in. But before we delve into the why part, please do subscribe and like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't. Let's bring up the cavernous family tree that has made it so synonymous with the word dysfunctional. Jay is the patriarch and the whole family started with him. He sells closets for a living. Now that sounds as ridiculous as it sounds, but he's laughing all the way to the bank. He is the haughty and high-strung elder of the family who is always assured that he is indeed right always and thinks he can wriggle out of any situation with his supposed wit and charm, which he is indeed blessed with. So essentially, he's a boomer. But you can't just brush away his character just like that, because Jay is a bit of a softie and is extremely emotional, contrasting with his rough and tough exterior. This makes him a fascinating character study about masculinity and what it represents for a man who has been conditioned to always believe that shedding emotion is oh so sinful. Gloria, his trophy Latina wife, is a headstrong character entrenched deeply in cliché Latin stereotypes in a way that is surprisingly not offensive. I thoroughly enjoyed Sofia Vergara's strong Spanish accent with all the Colombian quirks in it, and she delivers a natural and effortless performance that is in part due to her own Colombian roots. She yearns for the family to stick together and wants the whole household to be a strong unit, unwavering in support most of the times. She is a show stealer and almost always has the limelight directed towards her. Her son from her previous marriage, Manny, is a man-child who is a typical mama's boy and is unwilling to wean away from her towering presence. He is a very artistic and brooding person with a very atypical set of mannerisms. He is definitely the epitome of awkwardness. But come to think of it, every one of these characters have their own set of awkward moments. 11 seasons is an awful lot of time to explore each and every permutation combination. Every moment you could possibly think of has probably been explored. Mitchell and Claire are a sibling duo wherein they could not be more different than each other. Jay considers Claire to be his actual son because of a strong personality that dwarfs that of Mitchell, who is timid and soft-spoken. Now that plays into a lot of scenarios and causes a lot of friction and fun moments in the series. Their respective spouses Cameron and Phil are the problematic son-in-laws who each have their own share of weird afflictions. Phil tends to be carefree and is a cool dad every child wishes for. Ty Burrell really does get under the skin of the character and gives a performance for the ages. He is the right amalgam of hilarious and nervous tension, and he strikes the right chords for sure. Cameron is a parent who is always harrowing and worries way too much for his own good. But one thing to note is that this was a landmark TV show for same-sex relationships, in that it was one of the more consistent portrayals of a loving relationship in that realm. Then comes the Dunphy clan. Haley is the oldest and is a fashionista in her own right, but is a little low on the IQ scale, as is with Luke, who is also a dimwit, and both of them lie juxtaposed with Alex. Alex is a gigantic nerd and has her neurons firing on all cylinders all the time. She probably is smarter than all of her family members combined, but she does lose in the real-world experience department a lot of the times. Lily Pritchett Tucker is a bit of an enigma, and her character is pretty much dark and snarky. Now, what is there to say? Yeah, her character is a teensy bit underdeveloped. The first 6 seasons of Modern Family were peak comedy television. It was drama and comedy fused together to form a juggernaut series that was like a fever dream. Needless to say, those first seasons probably warrant the title of the definitive television sitcom of the 21st century. Such was its impact that it swept the Emmys for 5 years straight and had all the comedy categories on lock. You just couldn't escape it, and at one point, the cast members themselves were competing against each other for a single award.
Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. And another one.
In fact, even if I say so myself, it was better than Friends or any other sitcom of its class in terms of overall scope and caliber. At least there are no god-awful laugh tracks.
Hi, my name is Ross.
It tackled a variety of issues like racism, sexism, and what it means to be a bilingual alien in America handily. It unexpectedly makes you think and ponder at times about the prevailing lack of diversity in TV shows. But these shows are probably not comparable as they do have wildly different plot lines and not a terribly overlapping theme. Friends probably had a more consistent quality to it and ended with a bang, while How I Met Your Mother had an ending that was so polarizing that even I, who hasn't finished the show yet, know of it. Notice how I've been waxing eloquent about the first few seasons and haven't mentioned a peep about the later seasons? Well, there's a concrete slew of reasons for it, and let me explain why. As the 7th season rolled in, the toll of packing in incredibly dense storylines in the prior seasons started showing up as the plot started drying up. The tight and natural story progression for the first 6 seasons were definitely going to be hard to keep up. Some of the key relationships started being not sincere, to say it bluntly. You know what I'm talking about, Modern Family fans. Claire and Mitchell's relationship started being a little disingenuous. Some of the characters like Manny had their character development grind to a halt. Now it was always a delight to watch the children of the show interact and act it out with each other, and that slowly started fading away. I believe that the show started to focus more on the adults, which was probably not the right decision as it lost some of its gleeful innocence, and it was also partly because the kids had grown up. The plot lines became more and more contrived and ridiculous, and add the severe slowdown of character development to the mix, it all contributes to a faltering show. Now don't get me wrong, it was very fascinating to watch still, but it is very hard to forgive the mistakes and inconsistencies when Modern Family itself had once been the best of the bunch. A show with a similar DNA to it is surprisingly Malcolm in the Middle. It had far fewer seasons, but it was plagued by the same problems, although to a lesser extent. The last few episodes of Modern Family were really emotional and heart-wrenching though, and I liked how everybody got a fitting ending. Modern Family gets an 8.5 out of 10 for the whole package of 11 seasons, but the first 6 seasons get a 10 out of 10 for me, no joke. No guys, I'm not being delusional. So Modern Family will always remain in my heart, the go-to sitcom for me, and I hope it does for all newcomers to the show as well. So this is Gotham signing off, and I hope you all have a safe day. Bye bye.